Hello, friends. Today, let's talk about effective planning. I think it's a very important topic as we start the year because I'm sure there are a lot of plans that come with the starting of our year and it will get us off, to a good start. So, yeah, let's talk about that. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure to do and let's get to it. So, effective planning, I would define it as simply laying a roadmap or a foundation or a guide for what you want to achieve. So, how it would look like in a nutshell, as in an example, is say you want to start a blog. Having an effective plan for that would be establishing the objectives for that blog, coming up with the niche that you want to focus on, identifying your goals. I mean, that's also the objective, right? So, identifying goals, coming up with deadlines or timelines for the activities that are going to be covered in the blog. Yeah, so effective planning is simply thinking about all these things, thinking about when do I do the research, factoring in such things is what is included in an effective plan. In a few minutes, we will look at a simple process to guide us with that. The other reason I thought this to be a very important topic is because we are constantly planning, throughout the day we are planning, and sometimes we are not even aware of it. For example, we plan to when we are making dinner, the question is normally, what are we planning to eat for dinner? And there are a ton of different things in our life that require planning. And when it's effective, then we achieve the results that we want. We plan for how the day will look like. We plan for what we'll eat. We plan what we'll wear. We plan for, complex things like even a business plan, Some things are so basic when it comes to planning that we don't even consider them to be planning. Back to the dinner example, we ask questions like, what do you have in the house? The quantity, who is coming for this dinner? So that you know the number of, or rather the quantity of food that you're preparing. You look at the time that you have so that you know whether you're going to be complex or simple in your planning for the meal, The real question for today is, how do we plan effectively? Some of the activities that we undertake will require a level of seriousness in us, and it can be reflected in how we plan. That said, we'll break it down to 4 steps that are general for any kind of planning, as in any kind of planning, for it to be effective. These are the 4 steps that we would need. The first thing is to always have a clear goal and objective. Think of it this way: when you are on a road trip and you have a final destination in mind, it's very easy for you to get there, because even when you don't have the directions clear, you can use the Google Maps. You have a clear destination, so it's easy for you to fit that in the Google Maps and then get the results, and it's easier for you to get to where you're going. So having an end goal or an objective in mind will make it easy for you to achieve what you want, because then you can come up with different ways of even achieving that objective. Now, when the goal is clear, the next thing is to think about, what resources do I have? So you have to consider the resources that you have for that particular activity. Think of what you would need for that goal to be achieved. If you are trying to start a blog, what would you need to have? If it's a hosting platform, for example, you need a theme for it. You might need to have maybe a web designer if you have that capacity financially, and many other things. So you list down everything that you would want, and then now, that one informs now your next thought or line of action. The key thing to note here is to be as detailed as you can. List everything that you need, everything that is required, so that you're able now to figure out, okay, this one is missing, how do I get it? It's very important to think of that, because it will inform the next step of the planning process. And also it helps you know what to prioritize. So now we have a clear goal and we already know what resources we have. The next thing to think about is coming up with a to-do list. To-do list is a necessary step in this planning process for it to be effective. You think about specific tasks and their deadlines. I think it helps you stay on track and it saves you a lot of mental space, because I prefer to think of it like this: when you have everything listed down that you need to do, you don't have to keep remembering it every time. Maybe it's just once a day you go through the list and you know exactly what you need to do. So it saves you a lot of mental space, if you ask me. That way it gives room for your brain to be occupied by other things that might be even more important. So to-do lists are very, very important, because you can do time blocking with them as well. And I'm sure this is something that I've said here over and over, that work expands to fit the amount of time you allocate it. So when you have a to-do list and specific timelines to cover that activity, it's easy for you to stay on track because you'll work to ensure that that activity fits the time that you allocated it. Now, the last thing, the fourth thing in this process is to have a flexible mind, to be very flexible. It's very important to be open-minded because we plan for things and sometimes they don't go as we intended, and therefore we have to make adjustments. This plan is not written on stone. It can be customized to accommodate the uncertainties of the process. So the benefits then of effective planning, the first one is that it saves you a lot of time. It helps you gather all the resources that you would need before you embark on that activity. It helps you anticipate the needs of the process. And the last thing is that it helps you stay focused because you have an end goal in mind. Those are my 4 simple steps when it comes to effective planning. I really hope it's helpful and that you can apply them even in the different activities that you undertake for 2024 and the years to come. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and see you in one of my other videos. Bye.